Welcome to BW Business World. Today we are here at Gurugram chapter of Indian Business Literature Festival, where business meets wisdom. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. D. Shivakumar, who is Group Executive President, Corporate Strategy and Business Development, Aditya Birla Group. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
The art of management.
Yes, please.
Especially in the current times, what would be the definition according to you of art of management?
I think the art of management, if you look at current times, the world's moving very, very quickly.
That's right.
The world's changing very, very quickly. So I think the art of management is about staying relevant, staying, agile, and staying up to date with business models as opposed to leaning on past success. I think the ability to forget past success and get into what I call success traps is the important thing for tomorrow.
The book focuses on three subjects: self-management, team management, and then business management. Tell us about all these three, but out of these three, which one according to you is the most challenging and difficult?
The most important always is managing self, because if you don't manage self, then you'll be unlikely to be successful in managing a team or a business. Managing self, 50% of the impression you create on people is the way you manage your time. Okay? The way you manage your emotions. Do you get carried away by success? Do you drown in failure? Okay, that's also very important. How do you communicate? Okay, do you invest time in other people? Do you take joy in other people's success? Do you push people to learn? And do you push yourself to learn? And are you accountable or not? These are elements of what makes a great, a self-aware leader. A very good example I'll give you is, look at the way Ben Stokes is leading the English cricket team. He's got an attack philosophy to say, we want to do well, we want to win every match. Okay, and he says, in order to win a match, if I'm going to lose a few, I'm fine. And that's a very different, challenging mindset. And that's what I think you need for the future.
You being a veteran leader, leading many corporates, large giants, India is now becoming an economy where startups and young entrepreneurs are being encouraged. Do you have a doable agenda for young leaders to manage all three of these very efficiently?
Yeah. So
or what would you say? What should be the checklist of being the best?
Yeah. If you look at startups, the most important thing for a startup is energy. I think a startup, by virtue of being a startup, has a hell of a lot of energy. Everybody's doing 24 things, 24/7, etc. I think the ability to harness that energy is very important. When a startup crosses 100 people in organization, then you need to put structure to it. But having put structure, you need to ensure that the people leading the structure unite the structure and cooperate so that the company can win. That's what I would say, is very, very important. But whatever you do as a startup, don't burn cash unnecessarily. Please ensure that your unit economics are in the right place.
We talked about becoming the best one. According to you, who's the ideal manager, let's say?
There's nothing called an ideal manager. As I always say, there's nothing called a perfect company or a perfect boss or a perfect subordinate. There's never a concept like that. I think what's important is that you must bring your best self to work every day, and that's all you need to do. Don't look for perfection. Okay, as long as you're doing your very best, you're committed to the institution and the organization you represent, that's fine for me.
That's amazing. Your times when you led PepsiCo, or even now, what exactly is the criteria for leading the business for you was then and now? Do you think leading and managing a business is difficult right now or back then?
So that's a great question. Again, everybody says content is king, but to me, context is the kingdom. I think the context of how you operate a business or when you're operating a business is very important. When times are good, the context is good and everybody, says shabashi. Like when Nokia was growing at, 100% or whatever it is, everybody thought that managers could only walk 5 feet above water. But when Nokia started doing badly, the very same media said, hey, Nokia has lost its act. Okay, which is fair. So the context is very, very important. As long as the leader is aware of the context and you're very clear what the goal is, then you should lead the company in that direction.
Being a very, very crazy cricket admirer, do you derive some similarities between being a leader and from sports?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of sports which you can derive from. Cricket is a game where individual contribution can win a match. Okay,
That's right.
that's not true of football. Football needs a lot more collaboration and cooperation. Equally in football, the captain does not have much of a role once he's on the field. Okay, it's the coach who sets the strategy, who's accountable for results. So if the team does badly, it's the coach who's sacked. Okay, so leaders are like coaches. Okay, if your team does badly, you end up getting sacked. It's not the captain or the players.
The book is all about the stories. You did many interactions with many remarkable leaders across the industries. Out of all of these leaders, do you find any similarities that's common between all of them? Of course, other than that, they hold great leadership qualities.
Yeah. One thing is, they never wallowed in self-pity after failure. If there was a failure, they put it behind them and looked ahead. Like Harsha talks about when he didn't get his contract, he went and did digital, etc. Their ability to look ahead is very important. Their ability to reskill themselves, their ability to stay disciplined and focused. These are the things which are common to all leaders.
That's good. And if I can know who are the leaders you admire?
Oh, I've had lots of
Top three.
people. Lots of people, like, whether you take an Obama or you take a Robert McNamara, you take a Jack Welch. See, the thing is, when you have a role model, it's not that everything the role model does, you agree with him or
That's
her.
right.
But there are some things that you believe, hey, I can learn from them. So if I say Jack Welch, I think the way he ran the business, the way he thought about the structure of an organization, etc., was some things that I learned. But equally, there are a lot of people who are, let's take dissing on him right now, saying, he did all this wrong. That might be fair. That will happen. And that's the point I made about context. If you're leading in 1950, the context was different. You're leading in 2022, the context is different. You're leading in 2023, the context is different.
That's right.
So you have to, factor that in. As long as you learn the right things from the role models, it's fine.
So good to know about it. Also, we recently saw the great resignation and massive layoffs, even it was startups or let's say corporate. How would one manage all of this as a leader? Also, going forward, in your opinion, how would the future of work shape up?
Okay, 2023 is going to be a difficult year. So I tell everybody, if you have a job, hold on to your chair. 2023 is the year of the employer. It is not the year of the employee. 2 years ago, thanks to great resignation, people working from home, etc., companies went head over heels in love with employees and put all kinds of policies out there. But today, the pendulum has swung. Why? High inflation, high unemployment, okay, and lots of good CVs chasing few jobs. That's what's happened. So in order to work and be successful in the future, I would tell every single employee, please multi-skill yourself. Be relevant for the future. Okay, you are responsible for your own career. Nobody else will help you. Okay, that's what it is. As long as you work and you're committed to the organization for the time period you're there, that's all you should be doing.
You got the secret. Any one particular message for the leaders who are managing their teams, and of course the young entrepreneurs or let's say employees who are working passionately? One message.
I would say one of the things we are maybe not good at is holding people accountable. I think leaders in tomorrow's age, when things change so quickly, you need to hold people accountable far more than ever before. Because if you don't hold people accountable, then your own image as a leader will be at stake. So one of the things deliberately over the last 5-6 years is I've practiced to hold people accountable, not whether I like them or don't like them, whether they are loyal or not loyal, as long as they're doing the right thing for the institution. I hold them accountable for the contract they have between themselves and the institution. I think accountability will become more and more important in the coming days.
This is new to me, and thank you for this. It's interesting to see your love for books, or rather reviewing books. In your opinion, how do you think these festivals, business literature festival, would catalyze this love for reading or love for books?
I think the ability to read is being lost. The ability to write is being lost. Okay, the ability to publish a book is being lost. I think a very important learning style for most people is reading. Okay, we read the newspaper, we read the magazine, etc. Because life has become very visual, everybody is into shorts and picking up news like that.
That's right.
But I think a great writer and a great journalist always will make you think differently about a topic in the prose they use, the words they use, etc. So to me, I think reading as well as writing are critical components of a very good leader.
Good to know. What's your next book, if you're writing anything?
I'm still thinking about it. Okay, wait for it. It'll take maybe the next 2 years.
So good to know. It was lovely speaking with you. Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much for joining.